Hello. I washed my hair today. It's very fluffy. I went for a 70-kilometer bike ride today in a monsoon. It was so wet and so cold. Came back, took a 45-minute shower to heat up. I actually took video of it, and I'm gonna make a little montage, and maybe I'll post it for you guys next week or something. Because it was really funny. It was so wet. It was a bad idea. But anyways, my hair is air drying, as you can see. And yeah, how the heck are you guys doing? Welcome back, Harry Potter. Next chapter. Excuse me. What's new? How are you? I'm very good. Thank you. I had some physiotherapy on my left quad this week. I got some acupuncture. It was awesome. You guys ever had acupuncture before? It's so cool. Your muscles go like, pzzz, and then they release, and then the pain is gone. It's my own fault. Too much activity. This is English breakfast. English breakfast tea? Yeah, it is. In my Game of Thrones mug. Okay, well, today I'm just going to dig right in here. I say that every week, but that's what I'm going to do. We are on chapter 11, and this chapter is called Quidditch. Shall we begin? Begin? As they entered November, the weather turned very cold. The mountains around the school became ice gray, and let me try that again. The mountains around the school became icy gray, and the lake like chilled steel. Every morning, sorry, too bright. Sorry, whatever. Okay, starting again, chapter 11. As they entered November, the weather turned very cold. The mountains around the school became icy gray, and the lake like chilled steel. Every morning, the ground was covered in frost. Hagrid could be seen from the upstairs windows defrosting broomsticks on the Quidditch pitch, bundled up in a long moleskin overcoat, rabbit fur gloves, and enormous beaverskin boots. The Quidditch season had begun. On Saturday, Harry would be playing in his first match after weeks of training, Gryffindor versus Slytherin. If Gryffindor won, they would move up into second place in the house championship. Hardly anyone had seen Harry play because Wood had decided that, as their secret weapon, Harry should be kept well secret. But the news that he was playing Seeker had leaked out somehow, and Harry didn't know which was worse, people telling him he'd be brilliant or people telling him they'd be running around underneath him holding a mattress. It was really lucky that Harry now had Hermione as a friend. He didn't know how he'd have got through all his homework without her, what with all the last-minute Quidditch practice Wood was making them do. She had also lent him Quidditch Through the Ages, which turned out to be a very interesting read. Harry learnt that there were 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul, and that all of them had happened. 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul, and that all of them had happened during a World Cup match in 1473. That Seekers were usually the smallest and fastest players, and that the most serious Quidditch accidents seemed to happen to them. That although people rarely died playing Quidditch, referees had been known to vanish and turn up months later in the Sahara Desert. Hermione had become a bit more relaxed about breaking rules since Harry and Ron had saved her from the mountain troll, and she was much nicer for it. The day before Harry's first Quidditch match, the three of them were out in the freezing courtyard during break, and she had conjured them up a bright blue fire which could be carried around in a jam jar. They were standing with their backs to it, getting warm, when Snape crossed the yard. Harry noticed at once that Snape was limping. Harry, Ron, and Hermione moved closer to block the fire from view. They were sure it wouldn't be allowed. Unfortunately, something about their guilty faces caught Snape's eye. He limped over. He hadn't seen the fire, but he seemed to be looking for a reason to tell him off anyway. "What's that you've got there, Potter?" "It was Quidditch Through the Ages," Harry showed him. "Library books are not to be taken outside the school," said Snape. "Give it to me. 5 points from Gryffindor." "He just made that rule up," Harry muttered angrily as Snape limped away. "Wonder what's wrong with his leg." "Dunno, but I hope it's really hurting him," said Ron bitterly. The Gryffindor common room was very noisy that evening. Harry, Ron, and Hermione sat together next to a window. Hermione was checking Harry and Ron's charms homework for them. She would never let them copy How Will You Learn, but by asking her to read it through, they got the right answers anyway. Harry felt restless. He wanted Quidditch through the ages back to take his mind off the nerves about tomorrow. Why should he be afraid of Snape? Getting up, he told Ron and Hermione he was going to ask Snape if he could have it. Rather you than me, they said together. But Harry had an idea that Snape wouldn't refuse if there were other teachers listening. He made his way down to the staff room and knocked. There was no answer. He knocked again. Nothing. Perhaps Snape had left the book in there. It was worth a try. He pushed the door ajar and peered inside, and a horrible scene met his eyes. Snape and Filch were inside, alone. Snape was holding his robes above his knees. One of his legs was bloody and mangled. Filch was handing Snape bandages. Blasted thing, Snape was saying. How are you supposed to keep your eyes on all three heads at once? Harry tried to shut the door quietly, but... Potter! Snape's face was twisted with fury as he dropped his robes quickly to hide his leg. Harry gulped. I just wondered if I could have my book back. Get out! Out! Harry left before Snape could take any more points from Gryffindor. He sprinted back upstairs. Did you get it? Ron asked as Harry joined them. What's the matter? In a low whisper, Harry told them what he'd seen. You know what this means? He finished breathlessly. He tried to get past that three-headed dog at Halloween. That's where he was going when we saw him. He's after whatever it's guarding, and I bet my broomstick he let that troll in to create a diversion. Hermione's eyes were wide. No, he wouldn't, she said. I know he's not very nice, but he wouldn't try and steal something Dumbledore was keeping safe. Honestly, Hermione, you think all teachers are saints or something? Snapped Ron. I'm with Harry. I wouldn't put anything past Snape, but what's he after? What's that dog guarding? Harry went to bed with his head buzzing with the same question. Neville was snoring loudly, but Harry couldn't sleep. He tried to empty his mind. He needed to sleep. He had to. He had his first Quidditch match in a few hours, but the expression on Snape's face when Harry had seen his leg wasn't easy to forget. The next morning dawned a very bright... A lot of people are waving at me right now. Everything okay? You guys hear me okay? The next morning dawned very bright and cold. The great hall was full of delicious smell of fried sausages and the cheerful chatter of everyone looking forward to a good Quidditch match. You've got to eat some breakfast. I don't want anything. Just a bit of toast, wheedled Hermione. I'm not hungry. Harry felt terrible. In an hour's time, he'd be walking onto the pitch. Harry, you need your strength, said Seamus Finnegan. Seekers are always the ones who get nobbled by the other team. Thanks, Seamus, said Harry, watching Seamus pile ketchup on his sausages. By 11 o'clock, the whole school seemed to be out in the stands around the Quidditch pitch. Many students had binoculars. The seats might be raised high in the air, but it was still difficult to see what was going on sometimes. Ron and Hermione joined Neville, Seamus and Dean, the West Ham fan, up in the top row. As a surprise for Harry, they had painted a large banner on one of the sheets Scabbers had ruined. It said, Potter for President, and Dean, who was good at drawing, had done a large Gryffindor lion underneath. Then Hermione had performed a tricky little charm so that the paint flashed different colors. Meanwhile, in the changing rooms, Harry and the rest of the team were changing into their scarlet Quidditch robes. Slytherin would be playing in green. Wood cleared his throat for silence. Okay, men, he said. And women, said Chaser Angelina Johnson. And women, Wood agreed. This is it. The big one, said Fred Weasley. The one we've all been waiting for, said George. We know Oliver's speech by heart, Fred told Harry. We were in the team last year. Shut up, you two, said Wood. This is the best team Gryffindor's had in years. We're going to win, I know it. He glared at them all as if to say, or else. Right, it's time. Good luck, all of you. Harry followed Fred and George out of the changing room and, hoping his knees weren't going to give way, walked onto the pitch to loud cheers. Madam Hooch was refereeing. She stood in the middle of the pitch, waiting for the two teams, her broom in her hand. Now I want a fair game, all of you, she said once they're all gathered round her. Harry noticed that she seemed to be speaking particularly to the Slytherin captain, Marcus Flint, a fifth year. Harry thought Flint looked as if some troll... Harry thought Flint looked as if he had some troll blood in him. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the fluttering banner high above, flashing Potter for President over the crowd. His heart skipped. He felt braver. Mount your brooms, please. Harry clambered onto his Nimbus 2000. Madam Hooch gave a loud blast on her silver whistle. 15 brooms rose high into the air. They were off. And the quaffle is taken immediately by Angelina Johnson of Gryffindor. What an excellent chaser that girl is, and rather attractive too. Jordan! Sorry, Professor. The Weasley's twins' friend, Lee Jordan, was doing the commentary for the match, closely watched by Professor McGonagall. I'll try to do my best commentator voice here. And she's really belting along up there. A neat pass to Alicia Spinett, a good friend of Oliver Wood's, last year only a reserve. Back to Johnson, and no. Slytherin have taken the quaffle. Slytherin captain Marcus Flint gains the quaffle, and off he goes. Flint flying like an eagle up there. He's going to sit. No! Stopped by an excellent move by Gryffindor keeper Wood, and Gryffindor take the quaffle. That's Chaser Kitty Bell of Gryffindor there. Nice dive around Flint, off up the field, and ouch. That must have hurt. Hit in the back of the head by a bludger. Quaffle taken by Slytherin. That's Adrian Pussy speeding off towards the goalpost, but he's blocked by a second bludger. Sent his way by Fred or George Weasley. Can't tell which. Nice play by the Gryffindor beater anyway, and Johnson's back in the possession. The quaffle of Clearfield ahead, and off she goes. She's really flying, does a speeding bludger to the goalpost ahead. Angelique Keep Belcher drives Mrs. Gryffindor. Score! Gryffindor cheers filled the cold air with howls and moans from the Slytherins. Budge up there, move along. Hagrid! Ron and Hermione squeezed together to give Hagrid enough space to join them. Been watching from my hut, said Hagrid, patting a large pair of binoculars round his neck. But it isn't the same as being in the crowd. No sign of the snitch yet, eh? Nope, said Ron. Harry hasn't had much to do out there yet. Keep out of trouble, though. That's something, said Hagrid, raising his binoculars and peering skywards at the speck that was Harry. By the way, photo. Way up above them, Harry was gliding over the game, squinting about for some sign of the snitch. This was part of his and Wood's game plan. Keep out of the way until you catch sight of the snitch, Wood had said. We don't want you attacked before you have to be. When Angelina had scored, Harry had done a couple of loop-the-loops to let out his feelings. Now he was back to staring around for the snitch. Once he caught sight of a flash of gold, but it was just a reflection from one of Weasley's wristwatches, and once a bludger decided to come pelting his way, more like a cannonball than anything, but Harry dodged it. Fred Weasley came chasing after it. All right there, Harry. He had time to yell as he beat the bludger fiercely towards Marcus Flint. Slytherin in possession, Lee Jordan was saying. Chaser. Ducks 2 bludgers. God, I hate that word. What is it? Bludger, right? Yeah. Ducks 2 bludgers, 2 Weasleys, and Chaser Bell speeds towards the... Wait a moment, was that the snitch? A murmur ran through the crowd as Adrian Dot the Quaffle, too busy looking over his shoulder at the flash of gold that had passed his left ear. Harry saw it. In a great rush of excitement, he dived downwards after the streak of gold. Slytherin seeker Terrence Higgs had seen it, too. Neck and neck, they hurtled towards the snitch. All the chasers seemed to have forgotten what they were supposed to be doing as they hung in midair to watch. Harry was faster than Higgs. He could see the little ball. He could see the little round ball, wings fluttering, darting up ahead. He put on an extra spurt of speed. Wham! A roar of rage echoed from the Gryffindors below. Marcus Flint had blocked Harry on purpose, and Harry's broom spun off course, Harry holding on for dear life. Foul! Screamed the Gryffindors. Madam Hooch spoke angrily to Flint and then ordered a free shot at the goalpost for Gryffindor. But in all the confusion, of course, the golden stitch had disappeared from sight again. Down in the stands, Dean Thomas was yelling, "Send him off, ref! Red card!" This isn't football, Dean, Ron reminded him. You can't send people off in Quidditch. And what's a red card? But Hagrid was on Dean's side. They had to change the rules. Flint could have knocked Harry out of the air. It's very exciting, this chapter. Lee Jordan was finding it difficult not to take sides. So after that obvious and disgusting bit of cheating, Jordan, growled Professor McGonagall. After that open and revolting foul, Jordan, I'm warning you. All right. Flint nearly kills the Gryffindor Seeker, which could happen to anyone, I'm sure. So a penalty to Gryffindor, taken by Spinnet, who puts it away. No trouble, and we continue to play. Gryffindor still in possession. It was as Harry dodged another bludger, which went spinning dangerously past his head, that it happened. His broom gave a sudden, frightening lurch. For a split second, he thought he was going to fall. He gripped the broom tightly with both his hands and knees. He never felt anything like that. It happened again. It was as though the broom was trying to buck him off. But Nimbus 2000s did not suddenly decide to buck their riders off. Harry tried to turn back towards the Gryffindor goalpost. He had half a mind to ask Wood to call timeout, but then he realized that his broom was completely out of control. He couldn't turn it. He couldn't direct it at all. It was zigzagging through the air and every now and then making violent swishing movements which almost unseated him. Lee was still commentating. Slytherin in possession, Flint with the quaffle, passes Spinnet, passes Bell, hit hard in the face by a bludger. Hope it broke his nose. Only joking, Professor. Slytherin score. Oh no. The Slytherins were cheering. No one seemed to have noticed that Harry's broom was behaving strangely. It was carrying him slowly higher, away from the game, jerking and twitching as it went. Don't know what Harry thinks he's doing, Hagrid mumbled. He stared through his binoculars. If I didn't know better, I'd say he'd lost control of his broom. But he can't have. Suddenly, people were pointing up at Harry all over the stands. His broom had started to roll over and over, with him only just managing to hold on. The whole crowd gasped. Harry's broom had given a wild jerk, and Harry swung off it. He was now dangling from it, holding on with only one hand. Did something happen to it when Flint blocked him? Seamus whispered. Can't have, Hagrid said, his voice shaking. Can't nothing interfere with a broomstick except powerful, dark magic. No kid could do that to a Nimbus 2000. At these words, Hermione seized Hagrid's binoculars, but instead of looking up at Harry, she started looking frantically at the crowd. What are you doing? Moaned Ron, grey-faced. I knew it, Hermione gasped. Snape, look. Ron grabbed the binoculars. Snape was in the middle of the stands opposite them. He had his eyes fixed on Harry, and he was muttering non-stop under his breath. He's doing something. Jinxing the broom, said Hermione. What should we do? Leave it to me. Before Ron could say another word, Hermione had disappeared. Ron turned the binoculars back on Harry. His broom was vibrating so hard it was almost impossible for him to hang on much longer. The whole crowd were on their feet, watching, terrified, as the Weasleys flew up to try and pull Harry safely onto one of their brooms. But it was no good. Every time they got near him, the broom would jump higher still. They dropped lower and circled beneath him, obviously hoping to catch him if he fell. Marcus Flint seized the quaffle and scored 5 times without anyone noticing. Come on, Hermione, Ron muttered desperately. Hermione had fought her way across to the stand where Snape stood and was now racing among the row behind him. She didn't even stop to say sorry as she knocked Professor Quirrell headfirst into the row in front. Reaching Snape, she crouched down, pulled out her wand, and whispered a few well-chosen words. Bright blue flames shot from her wand and onto the hem of Snape's robes. It took perhaps 30 seconds for Snape to realize that he was on fire. A sudden yelp told her she had done her job. Scooping the fire off into a little jar in her pocket, she scrambled back along the row. Snape would never know what happened. It was enough. Up in the air, Harry was suddenly able to clamber back onto his broom. Neville, you can look, Ron said. Neville had been sobbing into Hagrid's jacket for the past 5 minutes. Harry was speeding towards the ground when the crowd saw him clap his hand to his mouth as though he was about to be sick. He hit the pitch on all fours, coughed, and something gold fell into his hand. I've got the snitch, he shouted, waving it above his head, and the game ended in complete confusion. He didn't catch it. He nearly swallowed it. Flint was still howling 20 minutes later, but it made no difference. Harry hadn't broken any rules, and Lee Jordan was still happily shouting the result. Gryffindor had won by 170 points to 60. Harry heard none of this, though. He was being made a cup of strong tea back in Hagrid's hut with Ron and Hermione. It was Snape, Ron exclaimed. It was Snape, Ron was explaining. Hermione and I saw him. He was cursing your broomstick, muttering. He wouldn't take his eyes off you. Rubbish, said Hagrid. Who had heard a word of what had gone on next to him in the stands? Why would Snape do something like that? Harry, Ron, and Hermione looked at each other, wondering what to tell him. Harry decided on the truth. I found out something about him, he told Hagrid. He tried to get past that 3-headed dog at Halloween. It bit him. We think he's trying to steal whatever it's guarding. Hagrid dropped the teapot. How do you know about Fluffy? He said. Fluffy? Yeah, he's mine. Bought him off a Greek chappie I met in the pub last year. I lent him to Dumbledore to guard the... Yes, said Harry eagerly. Now, don't ask me anymore, said Hagrid gruffly. That's top secret, that is. But Snape's trying to steal it. Rubbish, said Hagrid. Snape's a Hogwarts teacher. He'd do nothing of the sort. So why did he just try and kill Harry? Cried Hermione. The afternoon's events certainly seemed to have changed her mind about Snape. I know a jinx when I see one, Hagrid. I've read all about them. You've got to keep eye contact. And Snape wasn't blinking at all. I saw him. I'm telling you, you're wrong, said Hagrid hotly. I don't know why Harry's broom acted like that, but Snape wouldn't try and kill a student. Now listen to me, all three of you. You're meddling in things that don't concern you. It's dangerous. You forget that dog and you forget what it's guarding. That's between Professor Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel. Ah, said Harry. So there's someone called Nicholas Flamel involved, is there? Hagrid looked furious with himself. Wow. And that's the end of chapter 11. I think there's only 17 chapters in this book, which is sweet because chapter 17. Wow. Look at this progress. Look at this progress I've made here. Amazing. What time is it? 20 after 4. That was a short one. Whew, nice. Does anybody want to talk or anything? I got a few minutes. Oh, my tea is still working on this table. It's getting in my way. Oh, yeah. Are we doing book 2 after? Gosh. No, I'm sorry. Probably not. I really don't feel like doing that. But I've been enjoying this a lot. Maybe I'll... No, we're not going to do book 2. Anybody want to go live here? Game of Thrones mug. Or does anybody have any questions they want to ask? You'll get 2 people for 1 with me, Atlantis Jackson. I don't know. Oh, okay. Sure. You guys better be entertaining.
How do I do?
Oh, okay.
I did.
Sure. Hi.
Hi. Let me turn my... Oh, gotta turn the screen around. There we go.
How's it going?
Hi.
Sure. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Who the hell are you guys?
I'm Amanda. Hi. This is Joe.
Hey, I think there's some lag. You guys have 2 phones going?
Oh, yeah, we were both watching. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
But he's sitting on the porch watching
Nice.
together.
Where do you guys where do you live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. How's your day going?
Oh, it's been great. We went to a cookout earlier, just a few friends.
Yeah.
Right? So. Socially distanced.
Yeah. Very responsible of you.
Yep.
You guys get up to anything exciting this weekend?
We face chatted with some people we usually go to Stargate convention with yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Otherwise, we've just been hanging out working on the garden. Yeah.
Sweet. How's the garden coming together?
It's coming good. Everything's still just babies.
Yeah. What did you plant this year?
We're doing vegetables.
Nice.
So we've got some beets and some carrots and strawberries.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it hot?
We're looking forward to it.
Is it hot in Indiana right now?
Not right now. Not today.
No.
Today's really nice and breezy.
Nice.
But give it a couple months, it'll be really hot.
Yeah, I bet.
Right.
Oh man, that's so awesome. Well, nice to meet you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have you guys seen the band before, or how do you...
Yeah, it's actually really
unfortunately never live.
Never live. We found you guys through a fan video somebody put together for Hawkeye. They just used the song Stutter just for a fun fan video. And we were like, well, this is a really good song.
Are you kidding me?
Check out this group.
Yeah, and now we've got all your CDs.
That's so cool. Yeah. It's actually my favorite thing to talk to people about is where they heard about the band, because it's always the most random stories. It's
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what's really funny is I'm originally from Alaska.
Oh, cool.
And I think back in the day, like way back when after Fix Me was released, I think I heard at least one of your guys' songs on the radio. Like there's something when I was first listening to it after we discovered you guys. I'm listening to a couple of those songs, like, God, these sound so familiar. I swear I've probably heard these before.
It's very possible. I don't know. Like we got very spotty radio play during the early days, but it may have made it up to Alaska. Like we had a couple of hot spots in like northern BC and Alberta. So maybe if there was some like radio spillover up there, it's very possible. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining from Indiana. That's awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. We've been really enjoying watching you do this. We're both essential workers, so this has been really nice to kind of start the week off, on a nice note and just get to listen to some Harry Potter and
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad somebody is.
Hey, you're welcome.
I'm liking it too.
There's a lot
it's a
of
good
people
story,
enjoying
so why not? We'll get through it.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for everything you ladies are doing. I appreciate it, and it's very nice to meet you. Have a great afternoon. Okay.
All right. Thanks. You too.
All right, take care. See ya.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
2 for the price of 1 from Indiana. That's awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. What do you think? Should we do one more? Okay, we got a couple minutes. Work. I really like this name. Sid the Squid Bracelets. You're in.
Oh, hello.
I love your name.
Oh, thank you.
No
Well,
problem.
thanks, I guess.
What's your actual name?
Sydney.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Where do
What's
you live,
going on?
Sydney?
I'm from Nova Scotia,
What part of Nova Scotia?
just outside of Halifax.
We're just outside of Halifax.
Um, do you know
Like,
where Dartmouth
you
is?
don't have to give me your address. I just mean, like,
Yeah,
what city, like, what town?
like just by Dartmouth.
Oh, okay, just by Dartmouth. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet you.
You as well. Can I show you
Uh,
something kind of interesting?
I'm sorry, do I want to
It,
hear something interesting? Yes, absolutely.
I have to show you something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It involves you. It's just my mouth. I brought this to a concert a few years ago.
Oh my God. I know
Do you
exactly
remember?
what that is.
Yeah. This is your signature here. Isn't
That's
that weird?
that's so funny. Oh, I love that you
It,
have there's my signature and then Harry Potter posters in the background. So clearly you enjoy Harry Potter as much as I do.
oh yes, very much so. But yeah,
Um,
it's been hanging there since that day. So
what show is that at?
that was Halifax
Halifax, where? At the
in 2013.
trying to think where we would play in Halifax 2013. At the
The Metro Center.
Metro Center. Yeah.
Yeah,
That I love Halifax. It's so nice.
I love it too. You guys I just saw you guys in February.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, we played. Where was that show? That was down at the that
The
weird little.
Cunard Center.
Yeah, Kennard Center. That's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Oh, that was so fun. That was the last show we ever played, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh
and then we came back. I think that was the end of the tour, or like there was a brief little East Coast
yeah.
couple of dates there, and then we came back and haven't played since then. Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love Halifax so much. Like I'm from Vancouver, so it's a coastal city. Obviously, there are some similarities, but
Yeah.
every time I'm in Halifax, I feel really at home there. I enjoy your town a lot.
Oh, what's sweet of you to say.
Do you how was your weekend? Do you do anything exciting?
I'm dog sitting this weekend.
What kind of dog are you sitting?
2 big chocolate labs.
Oh,
They're so cute.
that's nice.
They the family I babysit for, it's their dogs. So
Do you have a dog of your own, or
no, I have a like white cat
cool? What's your cat's name?
named Snowfat.
Amazing.
Yep. She's hiding, so I can't show her to you. So I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no problem. Well, thanks for watching Harry Potter with me.
Thanks for reading Harry Potter to us.
No problem.
It's been awesome. You're every time you post a Photoshop picture, my cousin who also watches your live streams sends them to me.
Yeah.
Because they get progressively more wild, your Photoshops.
They're pretty goofy. The problem I'm having now is that because we're like 12 chapters in or 11 chapters in, and
Yeah.
I'm running out of characters. So actually, I think you guys are gonna have to start suggesting some characters to me to do, because I don't know. Maybe I'll just like go back and do more Harry pictures or something. But
Are you just sticking with characters from this book?
that was we had tossed around the idea of like changing but because I'm reading the first book, I'm gonna try and do all the characters from the first book. There's a few I'm still missing.
You should do Norbert the baby dragon.
Oh,
I think that'd be cute.
yeah. Who else is left? The dragon. I could do Fluffy the dog.
Did you do what's her name? The Quidditch professor.
Oh yeah, the gym teacher.
Madame Hooch?
Yeah, Madam Hooch. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Or
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few.
Yeah. Have you done Flitwick yet?
No, I haven't done Flitwick yet.
There you go.
So clearly there are a
Just come to me for more ideas. I'll help you out.
Thanks, Cindy. Appreciate it. All right, well,
No
I'm gonna
worries.
let you go. I'm gonna hit the road here, but thanks very much for tuning in. It's great to talk to you, and
Well, thank you for chatting with me.
yeah,
It's
my
been
pleasure.
awesome.
Yeah, it has been awesome, and hope to see you again in Halifax in the very near future.
I'll be there.
All right. Take care of yourself. Okay, have a great weekend.
You
Or
too.
Sunday. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I love live streams. Well, everybody, I guess it's 4:30, so I gotta go and do whatever it is that I do on Sunday afternoons. Laundry. I got to do some laundry. Guys, have a great day. Love y'all. And next weekend, I'm out of town, but I think I can do it. I'll try and get it done. I think I can do it. I might do it from a funny location. Maybe I'll be wearing a bathing suit. Anyways, gotta go. Have a good one. Ciao.